Welcome to the Model Health Show. This is fitness and nutrition expert Shawn Stevenson here with my beautiful, amazing, famous, world famous producer of the Model Health Show and my co-host Jade Harrell. What's up, Jade?
What's happening, Shawn?
What's happening? How are you today?
Today I am victoriacted.
Victoriacted.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like something is... Just tell me. Tell me. I don't want to jump to conclusions.
I can't wait to hear what your translation was. But my mind is directed and focused on my victory. Victoriacted. Directed toward my victory.
Directed victory.
Yep.
I like that.
Yep.
I like it a lot.
Pointed, activated, and directed.
So right before the show, you was telling me that it looked like my heart was jumping out of my chest.
It did.
Like, makes you think about a cartoon. But then I told you that I actually, when I was a kid, I was diagnosed with an enlarged heart.
Hey, you weren't just
little
doing
fun
your
facts
Dwayne
about
Johnson,
Shawn,
you know?
That my heart is too big.
For you,
right? I've got this big heart.
Exactly. This is why you're in this work, so you can do something with that extra.
Ironically. But that could be a health problem, you know?
Well,
but that's when I was younger and everything kind of adjusted. Mm-hmm. It's just inflammation. You know, I was on the, we'll call it the Saturday morning cartoon diet. All right. I was all in the Mr. T cereal. Right. And again, you know, I didn't eat a salad till my mid-20s, and which is crazy that I even made it that far without breaking down and having the so-called incurable disease diagnosis and these things. But that's why we have this show today, is showing people what's possible. You know, that no matter what you've been through, no matter the struggles beforehand, there is room for improvement. You can always get better. If you're here breathing, you can always get better.
That's a message I needed to hear today.
For certain. For certain. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the show today. Very, very excited to have you. We've got a special guest. We've got, he's a living legend. All right. He's a literal living legend. And we're going to talk about the cardio myth.
Oh, boy.
All right. We're going to talk about the cardio myth. And you know, I don't know if you see some of these memes out there, but there's a lot of memes about doing cardio. People are like, if you don't think an hour is a long time, you haven't been on a treadmill or whatever, you know. And there was one, actually, I think I actually had it pulled up. It's this kind of, you know, big kind of buff guy. He's like Macaulay Culkin. He's like Forrest Pumped. He's like a big guy. And the meme says cardio with a question mark. That's any set over 5 reps, right? So many people. Here's another one. It said, and it's that one super cool guy. He's like the older guy, like super just G. And it says, I don't always do cardio, but when I do, it's called sex.
Okay.
So some people have different definitions of cardio, but today the cardio has really been pressed into our culture and into our consciousness that this is the thing we need to do if we want to lose weight. And we're going to break that whole thing apart and really give the truth about it, because there are some benefits, but there are also some important things that you need to be aware of. And before we do that, though, I'm going to give a quick shout out to what I had this morning. And my daily thing, every morning I have my 4 Sigmatic elixirs. All right. And today, because of course we're doing the Model Health Show, so I had the lion's mane.
That's the one.
All right. This is for the brain. This is one of the few things that we know about is clinically proven to be neuroprotective, right? To help you to really fortify all those different synaptic connections in your brain, right? Those neurons, make sure they're firing, make sure they're protected. So it's neuroprotective, and it also encourages neurogenesis,
I like
the
that.
creation of new brain cells. What? How?
We needs that.
How's that possible? Well, lion's mane has been around for a very long time, and that's just one of the amazing elixirs. I switch them up. Really been into reishi lately, which is one of those things is about 300% increase in your NK cell activity. So these are natural killer cells, your immune system weapons. It's like training. It's like Ninjago training, right, for your immune system.
That's right. It's like showing up with your posse, you know.
It's like Sensei Wu, training those immune system cells. So shout out to Ninjago and the parents out there that know about this.
That's right.
But just really making it so that your immune system is well trained and really acclimated to adapting to any kind of nefarious thing that you're around. And I feel that, you know, especially people are working in, and I just had somebody message me, you know, I'm pretty active on Instagram with my Insta Live. So you make sure you're following me there. It's at Shawn Model. But she's a teacher. She was like, the mushrooms, game changer. When she got the medicinal mushrooms in there, the reishi, the chaga, because these kids are carriers, you know, little smugglers for sicknesses. And Jade's pointing to herself.
Right.
I know, I do understand. And so make sure that you're utilizing these, and also the mushroom coffee. My wife is a huge, huge fan. It's her daily thing. She does cycle in some other things as well. But I never knew her to be a coffee drinker until she started using a Four Sigmatic coffee because she loves the way it makes her feel.
Yeah.
She also doesn't get that weird crash and no symptoms of withdrawal when she doesn't have it, which is so important.
Tolerate that. We used to just let that happen because that was the trade-off.
Yeah.
But it's so much nicer not to have it at all.
Exactly. And also, but coffee, it can be great for some people, but we need to make sure that we're getting high quality coffees, right? Organic. You're not having like a hot cup of pesticides, right? Pesticide coffee beans. You don't want to have that. You want to have the high quality stuff. And that's what Four Sigmatic is providing. Plus, the alkalinity of the medicinal mushrooms that are in there helps to really buffer the acidity of the coffee, which is another really interesting component. So make sure to head over, check them out. That's foursigmatic.com/model. That's FOURSIGMATIC.com/MODEL. And they're going to give you 15% off your entire purchase. So make sure to check them out. And on that note, let's get to the iTunes review of the week.
Well, here's a nice one. And it's Forever a Grateful Soul, 5 stars. Words cannot express my gratitude toward Shawn and Jade and everyone behind the Model Health Show. In September of 2015, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer, 16 days after my 25th birthday. My previous life as I knew it was forever gone. During one of my chemotherapy treatments, I came across the Model Health Show. Little did I know that my life would be forever transformed. Fast forward 17 months later to February 2017, I can honestly say that I wouldn't have changed anything. Without my cancer diagnosis, I would have never found the Model Health Show and would have never been able to share my wealth of knowledge with friends, family members, and people I don't even know. Shawn, I hope one day I can meet you to express my gratitude for forever changing my life. Hashtag Dallas 2017, Preston Dean.
That just took a turn for me, like a big shift in my energy. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. Thank you so much for sharing that and for being you and for allowing us to be a part of your life. And I truly do appreciate the fact that you took action, and I'm happy that you are here and healthy and thriving, because that's what it's really all about. Because now you have the opportunity to share your story with so many other people. And what you went through was for that purpose. It wasn't to defeat you. It was to make you better. And now you are in that position. And I'm very, very grateful to be a part of your story. So thank you for sharing that. And everybody, thank you for leaving those reviews over on iTunes. Some of these can really get me, but just keep them coming. Some of them are super funny. Some of them are so just giving and enlightening. So thank you for sharing those. And on that note, let's get to our special guest and our topic of the day. Today, again, like I said, we're having on a living legend. All right, guys. We're talking about, he's like the new edition of fitness, online fitness specifically. We have on the one and only Craig Ballantyne, and he's often called the world's most disciplined man. And this is by his friends and coaching clients. He's the author of 2 books, including The Great Cardio Myth and The Perfect Day Formula, which is what he was on for prior to this episode. We'll put that in the show notes as well. And Craig has been a contributor to Men's Health magazine for over 17 years. And in 2001, he created the world-famous fat-burning workout system, Turbulence Training. All right. 2001, he was rocking it on the internet, helping people. Craig also helps busy people get more done every day and achieve extraordinary results in every area of their life. His biggest obstacle in his life was overcoming crippling anxiety attacks in 2006, and he beat them using his 5 pillars of transformation, and that's what we talked about in the last time that he was here on the Model Health Show. Today, he's back to blow our minds and to help us to unmask the cardio myth, and I'd like to welcome my friend, the legendary Craig Ballantyne. How you doing today, man?
Oh, so good. Thank you so much, Shawn.
Oh, I'm always stoked to talk to you, man. You're one of the smartest people I know. And I want to dive in and talk about this cardio myth, man. Just kind of jump right in. So you reveal some pretty shocking statistics about cardio in your book when it comes to weight loss. And all the magazines tell us to do 30 minutes of exercise per day, specifically cardio per day. And a huge percentage of the population, I had no idea, are actually doing it, but it's not working. Why? What is going on?
Well, there's 3 big factors here. First of all, we don't burn as many calories as we think we do when we go on a machine. And second of all, those machines are lying to us. And then third of all, and worst of all, cardio makes people hungry. So there's a research study that from the UK, from England, that found when people did cardio, some of these people ended up eating 300 extra calories per day. They were called compensators, and they gained weight over a 12-week program using cardio. So it just is not working for so many people. So many people go out there and they run a little bit, or they use an elliptical machine. They see 400 calories burned on the machine, and they go home and they eat 800 calories to reward themselves. And that's really unfortunate, and that's holding a lot of people back.
Yeah, man. Thank you for, you just said it. And this is a big thing for us to take down and take note of, is this compensation effect. And I know that specific study.
I always suspected those machines were lying. I knew they were perpetrators.
Yeah. There's a study that was published in Shape magazine that found the elliptical machine is the worst.
Really?
42% overestimation in the number of calories you burn.
Oh.
So if you go on an elliptical machine, it tells you that you burn 400 calories in a long workout. You really probably only burned about 275 or 300 calories. Oops. And, do that every single day, and you're eating more because you think that you burn calories, and you're eating more because cardio makes you hungry. It's a recipe for disaster.
Well, I thought it was underestimating. I sure felt like I was working a lot harder than the numbers were showing.
That's really what it is, too. And
I've
got to highlight this here in your book. And this is right in the kind of first pages here. And there was a study that was done in 1998 that showed the addition of 45 minutes of aerobic exercise at 78% max heart rate, 5 days a week for 12 weeks had no effect over dieting alone. Okay, so just dieting, right? You get the same benefit of all of this work. Okay, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
5 days a week, 45 minutes a day.
What was
Craig,
it for?
Break this down for us. What's going on behind the scenes?
That's a really good way of looking at it. It truly is behind the scenes because it's inside your body. When you do long, slow cardio, there's changes in your hormonal system that slows down your metabolic rate. You can lose muscle mass, which slows down your metabolic rate. And so the study that shocked me the most, in addition to that one, Shawn, was one from the University of Kansas that was published in 2007. And they had men and women do an hour of cardio 6 days a week for an entire year. And they lost an average of 5 pounds. So that's 50 hours of cardio in order to lose a pound of weight. That is crazy. No one would want to work 50 hours to lose 1 pound. And so that was one of the ones that just got me, riled up to get out there and tell people about the cardio myth and to show them a better way. And to go back to what you were saying, to focus on how diet is far more important than exercise for fat loss.
For people that couldn't see me that's not watching this on YouTube, I did a face palm,
right?
Like a legit face palm, because it makes no sense whatsoever. And we're trying so hard, spending so much time doing traditional cardio. And I know the same thing, we kind of had this same kind of conventional education that you also need to be doing the cardio at about 20 minutes to get to your, quote, fat burning zone.
Yes.
Before you even start to get the benefit.
That's so ridiculous.
It makes zero sense. But this is perpetuated by some really poor science. And it started with Dr. Cooper, right? So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Dr. Cooper came up with the idea of aerobic exercise back in the 60s because JFK actually accused America of being soft, of going soft in one of his presidential speeches, which I thought was interesting. I mean, he'd hate to see the way things are now, unfortunately. And so people got into this aerobic exercise. And then here's where it went really, really wrong, Shawn, is that a whole bunch of researchers in the academic world, all these university professors, they were really interested in running marathons, and they started doing all this research on cardio training for marathons, and that led to these long cardio workout recommendations. And worst of all, the one that had the recommendation that had the worst effect on all of us here in the weight loss world was they moved into this eat lots of carbs, eat low fat diet approach because, yeah, that works for running a marathon, but it's terrible advice for weight loss. And that led to the entire 1990s being focused on high carb diets. And the only good thing that came out of that was a really funny Seinfeld episode. But other than that, it was a total waste of time.
Tell us about that episode for people who haven't seen it.
That was the one they were eating the snack wells, and they just kept on eating. And then there was the low-fat yogurt, but it was high-fat yogurt, and yeah, that was another classic Jerry episode.
And he basically shows about nothing. you know, and crushed it. But these are nothing things that we all do every day. And I know that I was definitely guilty of that act, which was, you know, this is low calorie, this is low fat. I'm just going to eat 2 bags, you know, low fat cookies or whatever. It's like, it's a cookie, man. It's a cookie. Wondering why I'm not getting those results. And it wasn't until I really started to understand some of these principles, and also starting off with, you know, really trying to recover my own health. I started off doing, quote, cardio. But very quickly I transitioned over into picking up the weights again, which I know helped me tremendous amount. But the understand the idea that you can't out-train a bad diet, right? And I think you're one of the first people that I've heard really push that into the public consciousness. And you actually did a video where you were, just tell them about the video where you were actually proving this.
Yeah, so I was running on a treadmill, and my friend Brad Pilon, who's famous for an intermittent fasting book called Eat, Stop, Eat, was eating a giant slice of pizza and drinking a soda. And so in the 4 minutes that I ran on the treadmill, he consumed over 1,200 calories. And I ran pretty hard, and I burned about 40 calories in 4 minutes. And so that just goes to show you, you can't outrun a bad diet, because 1,200 calories is going to take a normal person about 90 minutes to burn off. With an accurate calorie reading. So not, your machine telling you that you burned 1,000 calories in 30 minutes of elliptical, because that's not happening. But you really have to work very hard. About a 160-pound man would have to run at 9 miles an hour for over an hour in order to burn 1,000 calories. And that is a hard workout. So we just can't outrun it. And there's a funny, you were talking about the cardio memes before. There's a funny one that I found, which is a guy on a treadmill, and it says cardio confessional. And that's what most people go to on, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, or the day after Christmas, or, New Year's Day. They're going to the cardio confessional thinking that 30 minutes on a treadmill is going to make up for the 2,000 calorie appetizer at Applebee's last night. Not going to happen.
Please forgive me for this Nacho Bel Grande.
Yeah. Let me pay my penance.
It doesn't make any logical sense. And I've seen this over the years, working at the university and helping people with their fitness as strength and conditioning coach. And I would see these same faces coming in, not my clients, but, especially after the holidays. And I'm thinking about this one particular woman, and she looked the same for the 4 years that I was there, every day trying to get there where she wanted to be, because she was constantly trying to run off the calories she ate. She's like, oh, it was, I had to bake the chocolate cake. I had to. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but why don't you try some different things, And eventually I did, toward the end of my, before I opened my clinic, I did see her start to basically copy some of the things that I was having my clients do, She was, it's one of those people like kind of peeking over, oh, what's that? Like, I'm kind of busy, but, this is this, I'll let her know. And so she started to add some of that stuff in. Don't know where she is today,
right?
But hopefully she got the memo.
Got it.
And that's no way for us to live. And I'm so glad that Craig is on today to talk about this, where we're constantly trying to run off our life and just being able to enjoy life and enjoy the foods that we love, without trying to constantly beat ourselves down. Because a big thing that I want to impress upon public consciousness is that suffering does not equal health, right? And we should not have to beat ourselves down and suffer our way to having the body that we want. Definitely, we do. It does require some intention and some work, for sure. Sometimes you're going to work really hard. But our definition of what that is needs to be changed, because this whole idea of cardio, traditional cardio in the way that we've been taught, does not work in the way that we thought. And I got to put one more little sidebar before I ask this next question. This is not for everybody somebody might be running right now listening to this episode. I'm not saying to stop running, all right? But running, if we're going to run, sometimes you just feel like running. Sometimes you just do. And I know, Craig, you agree. Sometimes you just feel like just going. But if you're doing that for the purpose of weight loss, there are far better methods of getting there. He shared that study, I believe, from Kansas a little bit earlier, this 2008, 2007 study, where we looked at a year, 6 days a week, losing about 5 pounds. That doesn't make any sense, but so many people are doing that, and there are far better ways to go about that. So